3-time goat DOS. And then that thing's gonna fade. Yeah, 250 feet, fades left, insane.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
Last episode was all about throwing absolute bombs. We did that, which was nice, because I feel like I learned a little bit about myself, but it's been about a week since then. We've been out on the course a bunch. Unfortunately, I haven't been filming much for you guys, to be honest. I've just been out enjoying my time out on the course, and it's been raining as well, which, you know, to be expected here in the PN Dub, but not great. Gonna be throwing some smoothies today. Working on a couple things. Wrist cock, as you know, we like to call it, and the crow hop thing. I think basically what I've already come to the conclusion of is that the crow hop thing is mainly gonna be a thing that I incorporate into my throws on more of just power shots. I played a few rounds this week where I did it on every shot, and I do feel like it definitely wasn't as accurate. I mean, simply put, if I'm throwing a 250, 300 foot, 350 even foot shot, it's not that hard. Like, it's pretty, I could do that standstill. So I think adding the crow hop is just more movement than needed, which I kind of expected, but I want to experiment with it. But the throws I had even in a tournament this last weekend where I used the crow hop for some distance shots, I threw some absolute bombs. Some of maybe some of the farthest throws I've had in tournament. Did help that it was like a golf course style course on half of it, but a couple PA3s just to start here. Bang grip. So I've been working on a little more of that wrist curl, which I do feel like has helped. I need to get back on the tech disc, so to actually figure out if it's, like, obviously you can kind of feel and you can kind of tell, but numbers don't really lie. But with these putter shots that I'm fan gripping, I feel like when I hit them, you know, a little more on that like James Proctor vibe of like a curl up, I do feel like when everything's feeling good and clicking, I just get such a smooth pop forward. It just really feels nice, I guess. There's no other real way to put it other than that. It just feels good. But it does feel a little foreign still. Flippy PA3 and then stable PA3. But yeah, so far I've been enjoying it. I've been playing pretty good golf this week as well, so that's a positive. I loaded up the bag with some buzzes and some buzz assess. Well, just one buzz assess actually. Beauty of a buzz assess here. We got this 3-time Nate DOS buzz, which I've thrown it and I know it's a beefcake buzz, and then I've also been told that this specific run, Nate was like, yo, I want some beefcakes, so they made them, so that's cool. And then I got a couple more just like Skinny Tool Z buzzes here. Pretty money for like some flip ups. But I've been messing around a lot lately with my mid ranges. I actually just went out and played around yesterday where I pretty much only threw DX rocks, which was interesting. And now sometimes I'll have a DX rock in the bag. It's kind of depends on how I'm feeling, you know. I love them for like that just floaty straight shot. I don't think they go as far as buzzes or buzz assesses, which who knows, you know, it all depends on what you want. But got a nice little lineup here. The mid ranges lately, like I said, I've kind of just been working with. So that's a pretty fresh SS. And I don't know, mid-ranges are something. I have this issue with a lot of discs. Is I have a lot of discs, or a lot of categories of discs, and then I have a lot of discs. Like I have a full box of buzz SS, buzz, rocks, you know, things like that. And I can never quite decide which ones I like best, because a lot of them are good. I'm definitely the type of player who kind of has set molds in their bag, but I have so many of them. Like I got 10 Eagles, 10 Scorpius, 10 Buzz SS, 10 Buzz, like 7 zones, like tons of destroyers, tons of DD1s. So I'll kind of like rotate them in and out, which might not be the best. I'm trying to find a few that are like more of just like total staples that are always in there, so I really know how they fly. But you know, like you guys have probably learned, I just like throwing frisbees that are cool. But recently, and by recently I mean probably the last 3 months or so, I've been throwing more buzzes than ever before, and honestly a little less buzz SS than ever before, which is weird because in the past I would always choose a stable buzz SS over like a beat up buzz. And now it's kind of switching a little bit, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that I think a beat up buzz SS, it's kind of the same as what I've talked about with like a beat up Firebird. Is like you can find a disc that's gonna fly like a beat up Firebird, but the fact that it was once overstable gives it that never ending integrity. And so my buzz SS, I feel like I can smack it and get the perfect flight, but then sometimes maybe it's a little windy and I'm a little nervous, or maybe it just drifts a little right. Whereas a disc like this, which is kind of a beat up buzz, that might fly identical to like a stable buzz SS, but because it was once a stable buzz, you just have that little bit of extra integrity on the disc. And it's something I've been like working with a little bit lately. You know, these field videos are going to be a little bit of me practicing, sharing a few tips, if you want to call them that, and just me kind of talking about disc golf. It's almost like a podcast, but I'm throwing in a field because I'm just trying to figure things out here. The last buzz I just threw is actually a little more stable than I remembered it being. It's a really flat, borderline puddle top one, so I like it on forehands. But we kind of want to compare these two. See? That is so good. And that's kind of what I mean by I could throw that exact same shot with the SS, but some days I just feel like you can trust that a little more. And by no means does this mean Rod is not going to be having a buzz SS in the bag, or even two of them. But I've been showing the buzz a little more love lately, and I've kind of been learning why it really is one of the best mids ever made, because it's growing on me more than it kind of was before. All right, 3-time GOAT DOS. I need to get like a GOAT stamp and stamp it on here, because Nate Doss, the absolute GOAT. And then that thing's gonna fade. Yeah, that's a beauty. Speaking of Nate Doss, did you guys see the Disc Golf Network interview with him? That one was really good. Last year when they did the Ken Climo one, I didn't think it was that great. Just how they interviewed him, I didn't personally like it that much. But I think, plain and simple, I think Brian did a really good job of staying quiet in this one and just letting Nate talk. And maybe like, God, a year and a half, 2 years ago almost, I made a video talking about who is the best Disc Golf Pro Tour commentator. And I said it was Nate Doss with Terry Miller. I like their dynamic. They've been friends forever. And a lot of people agreed, but a lot of people disagreed. I think one of the main arguments maybe against Nate Doss would be that he's not the best at public speaking. He stutters up on his words a little bit, which sucks, but I do think he could improve. But I think when it comes to like the passion of disc golf and the experience, there's no one that does it better than Nate Doss. All right, and here's my beat up Ultra. Ultra's released December 6th as well, I think is the official date. Frisbee Club Metal Flake, purple, blue. And I'm excited for those. And if you listen to that interview, I think it kind of speaks to how over the last, few weeks, my videos have talked a lot about like the nostalgia factor that's in disc golf, and it is a big part of this game. And I think Nate just really represents like that nostalgia factor. And I knew a lot about Nate Doss and a lot about his story, but I definitely learned a ton about him in that. And it's super cool to hear the story of like him having to get like punished by going to work with his dad at DGA when he was a kid, and then he got to pick one disc for like his day's worth of work off of like the collector like rack. And it was like super cool. And you can tell like obviously Nate has played forever, but he loves disc golf so much, and I think that really shows in his commentary and like everything he does within the sport, which I just really like. So I'm trying to keep these videos as one take as possible, but this is like a walking path, so kind of got to cut in between people walking through me here. But we got a Champ Leopard. I've been really liking this disc. I think I said it in a different video, but I've never been much of a Leopard guy, not because of the flight, but because I like the beat up T-Bird or something like that in the slot better. But I got my hands on this brand new little PFN beauty, and it's been flying nice. It just gets that consistent turn. Gosh, look at that. Man, beautiful. It just really makes me happy. And the Leopard, I feel like, is so controllable just because it's 6-speed. You know, it's a little bit slower. I think you're going to get a little less variation. And it's very nice disc. Champ Eagle, I've been working into the bag here, is a little bit more beefy guy to kind of complement a little bit more of the straighter ones that I have. We'll just power hyzer this and kind of see how it flies. Yeah. 250 feet, fades left, insane. But having an Eagle that you can really trust in the bag is big time, because this one that I really like on forehands, it's also great on backhands, but it has a little bit of push up, which is for most shots great, but when you need one maybe into a little heady or something like that, that yellow one's really money. Try and throw this on the same line, see what happens. Yeah, see how that one pushes? You're still gonna get that fade, but super nice. And then this one is a beauty as well. Little Star Eagle X, but those two are flat tops and a little stiffer. This one, not really domey, but has just a slight, you know, kind of curvature to it. Really nice one here. Probably a little straighter. It's another one we're working on getting into the bag full time. A little low, but you can just see how straight that one pushes. Money. We're working with it. We're working with the Eagles. We're trying to figure them all out, you know. Champ Sidewinder, Thunderbird. Man, it's funny because after the MVP challenge, I don't want to say it made me not like MVP more, but it made me so uninterested in everything that isn't just old school classics. I just been enjoying these things again. So something kind of interesting with how I've been holding it is I've been putting my thumb a little more towards the center, like a little less of like, this is kind of how I would hold it before, maybe a little more like front loaded, I guess, on the grip. And lately I've been doing more, I don't even want to say back loaded, but I feel like it's just like a full power, and then the thumb's a little more in the back. I feel like it helps me push the disc forward better and get like maybe a little more of a controlled flatter release. And so it's been interesting. I don't know, I've just been working with some different techniques. PFN Champ Sidewinder, big left right shot. We'll see how this one goes. Still working on the stability of this disc, trying to really figure out like the flip point, I guess. Oh, I hope that doesn't kill that lady on the path. Stable out. Oops. Good flight though. I feel like that's the Sidewinder and the Leopard almost fly identical, but obviously the Sidewinder just goes a little bit further. And then this Champ Thunderbird I've been working with. The Thunderbird is a disc that I saw in a comment, I think it was under one of Clint's videos because he's doing the Innova challenge. Somebody was like, oh, the Thunderbird like is trash. It's the most overrated disc like ever made. And I was like, you gotta be so fucking dumb to think that. Like, the things Paul Macbeth did with the Thunderbird, the things you can do with the Thunderbird, like the Thunderbird I feel like was one of the first discs that was like, basically it's a destroyer, but it is, you know, a control driver speed. Like, you can throw them so hard, you can get a lot of different variations in stability too, which is nice. And they go so far, but they're so controlled. Like, if you think the Thunderbird's a bad disc, you're just bad at disc golf, like plain and simple. But I've been working with the Thunderbird, and I have a couple others I've been trying a little bit, but I'm kind of undecided on if the Thunderbird overlaps with my super straight like Broadbird or super straight Firebird SS. So we're trying to figure it out. I do think this has more distance potential though. Little drift, and it's just gonna fade back. Yeah, money. So good. Now, unfortunately, yesterday, I was out at Mossy Rock, hole 17 if you're a local. I threw my Dayglow Broadbird, hyzer flipped to flat, and was turning, hit a tree, and I think I launched right, kind of up near like the basket, and couldn't find it. It was basically dark out. So RIP to that one, and that was kind of the one that was I would say very similar stability to that Thunderbird, where you could really just get it, you could get it to late flip even and end on Annie, or kind of just go dead straight. So we just put one of these red guys in, 170 gram broadbird, and then the white one is kind of our main, like a little bit more stable, but we're gonna see how this flies. I only got to throw it once yesterday, so I didn't really get a good read. Yeah, definitely more stability than the Dayglow one. And then definitely, I'd say a little bit more stability than the Thunderbird as well. So, white one, this should be even more stable. This is almost mainly like a forehand one, just because of the flatness of it. Not that you can't throw it backhand. It's gonna have a little more stability though. But with the colder weather lately, I just haven't really been throwing many forehands. I tend to do that in the winters if I'm places where it actually gets cold, just because the body like never feels as good. I feel like I probably throw more backhands. So then when you have that like one forehand, you know, you're on hole 8 and you're like, oh shit, I gotta throw my first forehand of the day. Never feels great. So we're kind of, I don't know, not throwing any forehands, but we're definitely dialing them back right now. And I've just been having so much fun throwing controlled backhands as well. So a couple smackers here, Horizon DD1. See, that's a pretty good shot, like no crow hop. And I don't know, I'm not totally sure. We'll try a crow hop with the old Money bottom stamp Star Destroyer. This thing has been flying really nice for me. Ooh. Oh yeah, that definitely had some more smack on it. That's a beauty. So, not having a beefy enough destroyer and not really knowing what the PD2 does cost me a couple strokes this weekend, to say the least. So we're trying to really learn this Skystone here. Because although it's beefy, you still get some good flight out of it, I feel like. I mean, I put that on hyzer, so I never even pushed, but I'm trying to really learn that disc. Last one, Chicane, Matthew Chicane. Those things have been so good. I've been loving them. But they did come out a little bit more overstable than I was kind of expecting out of that mold. So, interesting. We'll walk and talk. Well, we're going to pick these up. If you made it this far, I'm sure that means you enjoy my content regardless of what it really is, and I appreciate you for that. Let me know down below, what type of like off-season content would you guys be interested in seeing? Because you're definitely going to get probably one of these fieldwork videos a week, because I just enjoy doing this. It's kind of like a little mini like broadcast where I just get to kind of come out and talk and throw frisbees, and that's what I enjoy doing. This makes it more fun for me to come do field work, because I can talk through everything rather than just like coming out and throwing and I don't know, not really talking through it because you're kind of alone. You might rush or whatever, but this has been super nice so far. So it's interesting because you can come out here, you can try new things, you can film them, but unfortunately, well, you could watch back the tape while you're out here, but you're not really gonna see what you were really doing until you get back and start looking at the video, which is fine. Sometimes I feel like get out there, feel it out, and then kind of assess after the fact. But that little extra tuck and curl, I do think has just been really helping. And then the crow hop thing, in certain instances, I just gotta trust it, let my body kind of flow with it. Oh, and I think it can really help me add some smooth power and smooth distance. But just been playing disc golf lately, been enjoying it, been enjoying throwing these frisbees that I just know and love. And I've gotten my hands on some new backups and stuff, so I've gotten to get out here and chuck a bunch of new gems, really. But played an unsanctioned event this weekend out at Lake Padden. I think there was like 30 people in the field, which is pretty solid, I feel like, for like an off-season event. And I was 9 under par going into hole 18, not knowing at the time that that would have been the winning score. And I played aggressive, threw an absolute bomb that went OB by like a foot, and then threw a upshot. It was solid, but it hit like the 1 guardian tree you have to swing the forehand around. Step putt from 40 off the top, launched it to 25 maybe, banded it, double bogey, go back down to 7 under par, and I lose by 1 stroke. Where if I would have just played safe, and the par on that hole, super easy. Like I could have thrown any distance driver, chip hyzer, pitch up, tap in, par, and I'd have won the tournament. And it hurts. And it was my only circle 1 miss of the day was on that hole 18 as well. So it sucks because, you know, I kind of did everything I needed to do and then kind of just threw it away. I even went out of bounds on a par 5. Way down, and then pinned the second shot for eagle, but like plus the strokes, I still birdied it down the stretch. And so I did everything I needed to do and played some overall solid golf. So I was super happy with that as I slowly get back into competing, and that was great. But then right at the end, just some dumb mistakes. Not even like obviously a skill thing, because I should have been able to get up and down, but more of like a mental thing where I could have played the safest plays ever for the easiest par and just kind of let it get away. So unfortunate, but we're working on the game. Next year I do plan to play like a full competition season, whether that means 4 weekends a month, probably not that many, maybe like 3 weekends a month. I'm going to be trying to compete, and obviously bringing you guys along with that, because I feel like I'm finally in a spot where I feel confident enough in my game to just get out there and you know, do it. Because if not now, then when? And if not now, probably never. So what's the point, you know? So I'm excited for that, but the off season is just going to be a whole lot of trying to get better at disc golf. I've made a few friends out here, a couple friends that are, you know, some local pros. We'll have some videos coming with them as well. So it's going to be nice to play with some of the best guys in the area, to have to just really like up my game, you know? Like if I'm out here just playing by myself all the time, it's hard to kind of gauge yourself, and you can let yourself slip and you can let yourself lose focus. But if you're going out and just even casual rounds, you know, you can feel if you're getting waxed even in a casual round. So, you know, you're playing with guys that are around 1,000 rated or whatever, and you know, if you can play golf with them, then it's like you guys are all gonna, you know, be getting better at disc golf, and that's what this off season is all about. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to just like put into work. We're working on getting the elbow healthier. It feels a little better. I had like a really bad flare up a couple weeks ago, which hurt like really bad. Now it's back to where it's just kind of like nagging, but it doesn't necessarily hurt when I putt, which is nice. But we're doing some PT type things on that, and then, you know, working on that fitness. But that's pretty much going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed another little fieldwork session with Broad, episode number 2. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Creator of Frisbee Club, motherfuckers.
The man, the myth.
And right here, I have a frisbee bag. It holds all my frisbees, the ones I like.